So Chato. So yeah, you're filling me in. Sorry, go for it.
Oh no, yeah, Chato, 7 months old, 54 pounds. He'll probably get to like, I don't know.
How old is he?
He's 7 months.
7 months. Oh, he's young.
So he's still a puppy. And I don't know, I guess like, I don't know, what would you describe as our main, I guess, issues?
Yeah, just fill me in on anything I need to know, or
Yep.
whatever you're trying to cover at the Chato.
So we got him when he was 8 months old from a breeder.
8 weeks old.
old
Yeah.
from a breeder. And we got a one-on-one training session with
At 8 weeks?
he must have been 10 weeks by
Yeah.
then.
Oh,
10
with
weeks.
the breeder or?
It was with someone that the breeder recommended.
I gotcha.
That works with Bulldogs.
Nice.
And it was just, like one-on-one puppy, everything you need to know. At that time, it was via Zoom because of COVID. And that worked well. And then we did Urban Fundamentals with Urban Pooch. We did the puppy fundamentals, and he did fine. We just wanted to focus on socializing him. So in terms of, he knows how to sit on command. He knows how to give paw. We tell him to stay, he stays. What we're having issues with them is it comes with being a puppy, right? He gets super excited, distracted. So overall obedience is what we're looking for.
Yeah. He doesn't, if we call him, he won't listen.
He won't come to us.
He won't come to us. He's not good off leash at all right now. Like
Yep.
he'll go, like, run away.
Yeah.
Very, very social. I think other challenges, like when we walk him,
Yeah.
again, maybe because he's still a puppy, like he gets so easily distracted by people. He'll want to go to people. He'll want to go to dogs, and like he's overly social at times.
I see.
And sometimes it annoys other dogs who are maybe less friendly.
Yeah.
So I think it's just in general having him like obey us and respect us a bit more, I think would be helpful, because I just feel like he's like a free agent most of the time. And
This happened to her.
oh yeah, I was walking him once, and again, because for the same reason, he got distracted with something, started running. I tried to stop him, and I tripped and I fell. And that was when he was smaller. So now that he's bigger, he's a little stronger.
Correct, yeah.
So like getting him to like walk on a leash without pulling so hard, I think would be really helpful.
Yeah.
That's really my concern. Like as he gets bigger, like I don't want him to hurt
Yeah.
him.
And he's only 7 months?
Yeah.
Wow, he's gonna get big, yeah.
And so when we walk him, like we struggle. We have to get him at least 5 houses away from our house to get him going. Otherwise, he's just gonna like pull, like he's gonna want to go back inside the house or in the backyard.
Yeah.
But he's super good with other dogs, super friendly with people. We have no issues with that. Like I have a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old niece.
Okay.
Super good with them, with the little kids. No aggression. He's a sweetheart, but he just needs to be sharpened. Like we would want to, improve the walking. Definitely. Like I want to be able to play with him. So like working on recall and coming back to me off leash.
Yeah.
We like to go camping and hiking and stuff like that. And we just feel like
We can't have him like off leash.
For sure.
He actually tried it the first time we took him camping, and he ran off.
Oh wow, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's mostly just general obedience and like walking better and coming, like listening to us when we call him.
And the other thing too that he's having issues with is, we both work. Like I go into the office, she's at home, but she's in calls every day, so he's bored at home.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to like, get him daycare, but somewhere where he's being stimulated, especially as a puppy.
Yes.
Because he started, chewing off the baseboards.
Oh.
He started chewing off the baseboards, and he started like chewing her shoes.
Yeah.
So he started picking up that habit. And the other thing that we struggle with is getting him to eat.
Okay.
He's super picky. We give him dry food. He doesn't eat it. Like we try every trick in the book. We put bone broth, cheese, meat. He'll eat it, but then after a few days, he's like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Give me something better.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a medical issue. Like
picky.
He's
Yes.
picky.
Yeah.
So he actually lost a pound the last week. He'll go like a day or two without eating just because by choice.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if that's something you guys can help us with. But we definitely,
sure.
something to note. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else I should know about Chato? Sounds like it's pretty basic, you know.
Yep.
Or for us, it's easy stuff, right?
Yeah.
You're just looking for obedience. I'm not really, you know, getting any behavioral issues or anything like that. And he's already 7 months, so the 6-month mark it's like a year is when behavior issues start coming, right? If you haven't seen anything, if he doesn't have any traumatic incidents, he's good, right? But this time right here, 6 of a year, is when the brain starts to change, right? So that's when he becomes more of an adult, right? So just keep that in mind, that if he has a bad interaction with the dog, at that moment something can happen, right? So you guys been doing a good job, right? But just in this time, be very careful of like what he's going through and like what he's experiencing, right? But with him, I don't expect anything to be like, how do I say, imprinted, like permanent, like if he does something, because I think he has a good recovery from what I'm hearing and everything. Like he ran away, he sounds like just a big goofball. That's all he sounds like, you know.
Yes, that sounds about
Yes.
right. Yes.
But go for it.
Issues that he's picking up. So he never barks.
Mhm.
Always quiet. And we have two dogs next door that they never go out. They're always inside the home.
Yeah.
And they bark and all the time. And now he started doing that.
Oh.
Barking.
Yeah.
He's never done it before. That, and then the other thing too that he's picking up is jumping on people.
Mm-hmm.
Before he wasn't doing that.
Yeah. Now, like if he gets like really excited to see someone, he'll like jump on them.
Yeah.
Chato, and like he's really heavy, so we don't want him doing that because it's gonna knock someone down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then you heard about us through
them. Friends.
I'm not sure why. I don't know much about them. Do you know why they reached out to us?
Yeah, I think their dogs having issues with like humans, like aggression issues.
Oh, I see. Good. And then you guys did research on us and how we train and like the tools we use and like the e-collars and everything like that. Like they're on e-collar, I believe.
Yeah.
Good. Any questions about e-collar or anything like that? Because what I'm seeing here is just a bunch of goofiness. You're just looking for basic obedience, not looking for anything fancy, just like, you know, the walk, and then like a solid recall. What else?
Just him being off leash with us. He doesn't know that.
Oh yeah.
At all. On leash or off leash, nothing.
Okay. And then a lot of like from right here, just a lot of like, maybe a little bit of overstimulation, but just like a lot of boredom. Just like, what are we doing here? I'm gonna chew on the stick. What's this bag here? Who's this guy?
Exactly,
just a bunch of like doing like this stuff.
Wanting to like just like sit still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So e-collar. Have they ever talked about to you about how e-collar works or anything like that, or?
No.
Okay.
Our friends, they told us, they were using it. But
Yes.
We didn't
Sure.
ask for anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So e-collar. Have you guys ever been to a physical therapist or a chiropractor?
Yes, I've been to.
Yes.
Have you ever had like a tensine or a stim?
Yeah.
That's e-collar. That same technology, that same feeling is what we use. That's on the dogs, the e-collars. It's just like a muscle contractor. It's like it's also used as what is it? When you're like those commercials, like get a 6-pack overnight. Like you put a patch and like it's like massages your muscles to build a 6-pack. I don't know if it works, but that's what it's used for.
Yeah.
So they use it on humans, right? So the therapist would say, I'm going to increase the number. Let me know when it's too uncomfortable. Once the client says it's enough, it's uncomfortable, they lower it 2 levels down and they let the machine do its work. That same way is very similar to how we find out what number or how we kind of train dogs with the e-collars. So the brand we use is called Dogtra. It's the only brand we use. If not Dogtra, there's another brand we use called e-collar technology, but that's if like the client already has that collar. We're like, okay, we'll see how that works. The reason why we use Dogtra and like Jesse's been using it for years because how the feeling of it and the results of the dog, right? So there's other brands out there, right, because our brand has 127 levels. Other brands have like 10. So think of 10 and 127 equal the power. We just have so many more numbers to be more specific to the breed, the dog, the personality, the environment, or like the scenario we're in. With the 10 level e-collar, it's like 5 is getting Chato to yelp, 4 is too low, so then they're stuck. But for us, if 50 is too high, 40 is too low, we can go to 45 or 42 or 43. We can be very specific. it feels very smooth. There's other brands that have a sharper feeling that maybe do have that shock feeling. Ours is not a shock. It's whatever 2 contact points, right, are touching is what it's moving. So you'll see the twitch like this, right? You'll see like a little twitch on the shoulder, right? It's nothing flowing through his body. It's just whatever the 2 contact points are touching.
Yeah.
Got it. So for the pulling, that's heel command. The heel will address the pulling, the jumping technically, and will be the first command we teach him to the reason why is because we're giving him the concept of pressure on, pressure off. So when you feel this, it's because you're doing something incorrect. Then when you do this, it goes away. So we're teaching him that he's the one in control of this feeling, right? He'll never know that you guys are pressing the buttons. He'll only know that when this goes off, it's to get closer to you or come to you or sit or whatever the context is we're teaching or whatever we're teaching that moment. So what was I about to say? So the heel would address the pulling. The barking is more like, does he bark when you're in the home or when you leave?
No.
When you leave, when you're in.
Usually when he gets like frustrated.
I see.
If he wants to, like, for example, like if he's like sometimes like he wants to play with a dog and we won't let him. And
on a walk.
Like sometimes on a walk, mostly like with the neighbors next door, like he wants to play with them and they're barking, so he barks. He wants
Correct.
To play with them.
That's where he started doing it.
Yeah.
So
or,
then
like,
the
if he sees
heel.
someone,
Yeah.
That he wants to go with, and he won't let him. He'll like bark because he wants to go with them.
I see. So that barking will be addressed in the heel as well. We call it reactivity. So he's reacting to something. He's very reactive. All dogs are reactive animals, right? Something happens, they just react. They don't like think like, today I'm gonna be a good boy for mom because they put a lot of work in training, so I'm not gonna do it, right? Yeah. In the moment, they're very reactive animals, right? The heel will address that barking stuff, right? Because what's going on is he's worried about the dog, right? But he should be worried about where you're going. So the heel is very strict. Heel is walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So if you take 5 steps with him, he takes 5 steps. If you take 10, he takes 10. If you come to a stop, he's to automatically sit. And it's all down to slack leash in any environment. So that sounds really strict. So it's so strict that he will eventually not care about his surroundings and only be like, I need to be here. My right shoulder needs to be parallel with your left leg. I can't leave your side, right? Because if he leaves or gets distracted, this is gonna go off. Any questions so far?
No. That's helpful, yeah.
So that's the addressing the pulling and everything, and just because what's also going on is that you don't have a tool to kind of get into his head, right? Because you only have the flat. You're good.
Chato, come here, buddy.
You only have the flat, so that collar is better than a harness, right? If you had a harness, I imagine it'd be a lot. Correct.
Really hard to,
That's why I don't.
We tried it, and it like he actually pulls harder than.
Yes,
it's harder
correct.
To, like, divert his attention.
We call it. All dogs have what's called opposition reflex. So if you pull back, they go forward. If you pull left, they go right. If you pull right, they go left. If you pull back, they go forward. Because this is like when they're most strong right here. So like harnesses are used for like horses, huskies, protection training. We use harnesses. So like if we'll have like the aggressor there, the guy with the dog with the harness. They pull, release until they create frustration. They get more aggression and then they let go, and then the dog goes and bites the guy. So sometimes owners that are raising puppies on harnesses could potentially be training them for protection training because they're pulling them back away from something they don't want them to interact. So it's getting frustrating, right? They're like, oh, okay, it's a negative pressure here. So they're associating this negative pressure with that dog. So every time you see a dog, they get pulled back. They're like, okay, that's annoying. And then they become reactive, like annoyed, frustrated, because every time I see this dog, I want to go, but I get pulled back. I want to go forward more, and then I start bark, right? With the collar, although it's not a harness and you have more control, there's still a little bit, he can still get that feeling, like the negative, because he wants to go, but you're pulling back, and he can still have opposition reflex where he wants to go more now. It's like at a bar, like, or like those movies where like the guys are getting into a fight and like they get held back. It makes them want to go more, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with dogs, right? The harness is like you said, way more a stronger. How do I say? It makes them pull more. So the reason why we only use flat collars or regular collars with the e-collar train is because that tool doesn't say pull, but he's thinking it's pulling, but the harness does. So if we have the harness while we're e-collar training, it's like one tool is telling him to pull, one tool is telling him to not pull, so it gets confusing.
Yeah.
But that's good that you have a regular, especially a flat buckle, not the snap ones, because the snap ones break a lot.
Yeah.
What else? And then have you guys ever thought about using like a prong collar or anything?
I've never looked into it.
So I would suggest a prong collar. Yeah.
What is that?
It's those spiky collars.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
I suggest that because one, he's a bully breed, and let's say something suddenly happens, like you turn the corner as a dog, right? You're not going to be fast enough, right, to react with the collar. So then the prong is there. So if he lunges, boom, it corrects him, and then he should step back, right? We had a client here that had the same issue, that he get dragged, right? And then like one day we put the prong, we were working with it, and she said it was a life changer, right? Because she has to go like down, she's in the building, so she has to go around the building. She doesn't have time to use the e-collar. She needs just handling skills. So right here, we were doing recall, and the dog I had, her dog wanted to go to her. He went, and then he hit the end of the leash, and then boom, and he was like, bah! And then went back, and went back to me, right? I didn't have to say anything. He corrected himself. He did that himself. If it was a regular collar, boom, and then he probably would keep going right there. So I would suggest a prong collar with him. We sell some, and then you can also buy some on your own if you want, but just for control, right? We wouldn't use it like to train anything. It's nothing like that. It's just in case something happens, you don't have the remote, or if you're not fast enough, that prong is there to help you guys out. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
It's not required, but I recommend it just in case, for those just in case scenarios. Any questions so far?
No.
I don't think so.
Good. And then were you guys looking for in-person training, or like one-on-one, or board and train, or
I was
daycare?
looking at the daycare.
Daycare training. Nice. Good.
Just because. So I take the train, the blue line on Kimball and Belmont. I think
Okay.
your facilities are in University and Kimball, right?
Yes.
Right.
We're by that movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like, we do need to keep him somewhere while we're gone. I'm gone.
Correct.
She's gonna go into work too soon, so.
Yeah.
So that was the most appealing option to us.
Good.
Daycare training. So.
Yeah, daycare training will be fine for you guys, right? There's no, it's just obedience you're looking for, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
with like with behavioral issue dogs, like we recommend in person, because like you need to know how to handle your aggressive dog. Like we can't do it for you and just be like here, and then they're stuck. Like what do I do, right?
Yeah.
For the daycare and train, right? We offer 5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah.
So it's only depending on how much control you're wanting, right? That 10 is the most recommended, because 5 is too little, and then 15, 20 can be unnecessary for certain owners. So 10 is like you get the basics done, and the rest of the 5 days we do some long leash stuff to really get that obedience up there. The 15 is when we start training him in a play group, and we get him really focused, right, to get you guys that off-leash control. And then the 4th week is when we take him to a park here, and we kind of show you how we videotape you. We make a video for you guys how we kind of use the training here, long leash stuff in an environment like this and stuff like that. So if you want, so think of the 10-day daycare training like I walk him around the block. I need the recall, and maybe I need him to not move for a while, right? Think of the 20-day, the maximum, as you do all those things, and then you do off-leash hiking. You do crazy stuff like that.
Yep.
So how often do you guys like hike or would want to hike?
Well, we do pretty often in the summertime.
During the summer we do it a lot, but even like the last time we went camping, we didn't take him
Mhm.
because we were like not sure how he would
For sure.
react.
And there's other dogs
Yes.
that are just off leash, like around our campsite, walking around, and we're like, he wants to go over there.
Yeah,
He can't.
Yeah, I see.
So he's just choking himself the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chato, So that's him being frustrated.
Yeah. So it's just depending how much control you want.
Yep.
If you want completely off leash, either way, we're training for off leash, right? Because we're using the e-collar. We don't use the leash for training. It's there in case he does something, right? To help him, to guide him. But in the videos, because we record all our videos, you see on the website too, there's videos, instructional videos. I'll be in the videos. So what's going to happen is you'll see how he's taking the e-collar, You'll see how I work him through it. Maybe he gets a little like flighty. He's like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna run away. You'll see how we work him through that. I don't expect anything from him. Or maybe he does get anxious or frustrated. Yep, good job. But you see all this in videos. So he's gonna learn heel, stay, sit, down, place, and then come and called. All 6 commands in the 10-day. And then it's just, after that, it's just advancing him to getting him ready for off-leash. And they also come with follow-up lessons. The 10-day comes with 3 hours of follow-up. So, you know, you use it however you want. We can, you know, like, hey, Enrique, like let's say, because the 5-day is like 1 week, right? Yeah. You get your 5-day video. Then we can have the follow-up in the middle of your daycare and train program, or, you know, you can save it till he's completely done. But let's say you watch the video, you start practicing, and then he's still in the program. You can schedule the follow-up whenever you want. Like, you can be like, hey, we've been practicing heel. Can we have a follow-up just to see what we're doing right, or if we're doing everything correctly, and then going over other commands, we can do that. Or sometimes owners will watch the video. They won't touch the e-collar until the program is completely done. After the 10-day, then they have the follow-up and everything like that. Everyone does it differently. There's no right or wrong. The only important part is practicing. That's all you have to do. Yeah. And it's very easy to practice with our program because heel, everyone walks their dog. You know, it's very easy to practice. Duration work in the house is very easy because, you know, everyone mostly wants their dog to stay still in a certain area, so that's easy to practice as well. So daycare and train, you bring him like just for a regular day of daycare. You pick him at the end of the day. He gets to play with the dogs. He gets to enjoy the regular daycare stuff. All we're adding is training now.
Okay. How many hours a day do you guys?
So it's like whenever we can. So like in the morning, there's 2 or 3 handlers. They all do their sessions with all the dogs they need training, like a 20 to 15 or 30 minute session. More 20 to 25 minute sessions. So if we have boarding trains, daycare and trains, we do our rounds. After they're done, the other handler does their rounds. After they're done, the other shift comes in, and then we do our rounds. So about 2 to 3 hours, maybe a little bit more than that. But then he's also doing duration work, so that's counting as training as well. Our daycare is very structured, right? There's no barking, there's no whining, there's no humping, there's nothing, right? You walk into our daycare, we can have 40 dogs, and it's quiet, right? An owner walked in one time, and she saw like a few dogs. She looks scared. I'm like, are you okay? She's like, no one's barking. I'm like, yeah. Like for me, it's out of the ordinary for hearing dogs bark all day long, right? It's unhealthy to be in that environment for dogs because it's just so frustrating. So many things are going on.
Yeah.
So we'll be addressing the barking. The crate training, we'll be doing that as well because he'll be crated throughout the day. If he's not training or playing, he's got to rest, right? So it's an hour play, hour rest. If the dogs are playing constantly, then you get an overstimulated dog when they go home. We started at 1, right?
What was that?
We started at 1?
We started at 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get an overstimulated dog because then if they keep playing all day, their brain is like this, all day, and they go home, they're stuck like this, right? So when you include rest time, you give the brain to kind of decompress and relax, and they play and then relax because we're giving them an off switch, right? If he's having issues with the crate, we can correct those behaviors in the crate because we're washing the dogs and everything like that. So if we start seeing him mess around with the crate tray, we'll correct that. So it's like training all day basically, right? But the sessions are like whoever's there, and then they get their sessions done as well there. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
He will learn all the commands, the foundation, his first to second day. He'll have the foundation. Once I teach the foundation, then the other trainers can start reinforcing those throughout the day. Does that make sense?
What are the foundations again?
Heel, stay, sit, down, place, go to your bed, don't move, and then come and called.
Okay. What's the place?
Place is go to your bed and don't move.
Okay.
So if we have like a lifted dog bed.
Yeah.
Place, he goes and he stays there. He can lay down, sit down, stand, do whatever he wants, chew on the bone. He just can't hop off the bed. That's all. What else? And then if you end up like, say, for example, a 10-day, right? Yeah. It'll be either a Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday. You can do 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. Or you can do like 1 Monday, 1 Wednesday, the next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever works for your schedule. Or are there specific days you need him at daycare?
I would say my plan was to do the training, and then following the training, just do the regular daycare.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do the daycare and training, and then after that, just do the regular daycare. So
I see.
Ideally, like 5 days a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For the daycare and train, Because I'm only there Monday through Wednesday. So if you want to bring him, try his first day on a Monday or like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something like that, beginning of the week.
Yeah.
So I'm there to start the training,
Yeah.
right? Because if you bring him on Friday, I'm not there, and then I'm the only one that does the videos.
Yeah.
And then after maybe like his second day, then you can bring him whenever you want, right? It doesn't need to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But what I'll also probably have you guys do is because there needs to be like gaps. Because if we finish the training back to back, and like if you guys want some time to practice, it's rushed, right? It's all happening.
So much happening in
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So it might be like if you guys want, you get the daycare and train package, and then a regular daycare and train package. Daycare. So then it'll be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's daycare and train. But then Thursday and Friday, it's regular daycare. You know, or if the weekend is regular daycare as well.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that will be discussed with Kim, our kennel manager. She'll let you know how that would work and everything. But that's what I recommend. I'm just letting you know that I'm there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Any questions so far?
So, in general, you would recommend that, like, if you do what's like a 10-day like training package, that you post it out, you separate out there's time between days of the training.
Yeah, just like if you guys want to practice, you know, just giving you guys some practice. There's nothing wrong with doing them back to back, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
What do most people usually do in terms of like the training dates?
They usually do like, because right now I know a client that's they did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Next week they're doing Monday and Wednesday. The next week they're doing Tuesday, and they're always mixing it up.
Got it. Okay. So there's that flexibility.
Yeah, there's no like, you don't need to schedule it, right? So like, let's say, you know, for some reason you're off on a Monday, right? Hey, we're not coming in today. Okay, you still have that day, right? You don't lose the day. It's a bundle, right? There's no consequence or anything like that. It's not appointment based. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if we are doing the regular daycare, we could just be like, hey, today you guys can do the training, but Tuesday we'll just do daycare.
Yes, correct. You'll let whoever is there know, whoever's picking them up, because you'll call when you arrive. They'll come out, grab him, and just like, hey, today is not a daycare and train, or today please train him today.
So you recommend like spacing it out, the training?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mixing it up here and there. It's not like a big deal, right? If you end up doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then, or no, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, at least do that for his first week.
Okay.
Do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for sure. And then let's say, next week you can do Monday, like one Wednesday and one Friday, or you can do the whole week's daycare train. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just sometimes dogs need more time, right? So we had a dog who was very like nervous and flighty, right? Because sometimes dogs only associate this feeling in the facility, so they're always trying to get away. So if the owner isn't practicing, because they need more exposure, they think the facility is the one that's doing this. So once the owner starts practicing outside, like, oh, it's everywhere. And then you'll start to see them like dip down like with their energy and like start to calm down. So exposure is a big part in the e-collar training. What else? Any other questions?
That's helpful to understand how to best kind of maneuver or the different days of training. Chato.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Like that dog was already a nervous, flighty dog, right? E-collar is a stressor. No one likes stress. No one likes being disciplined, right? So when dogs get anxious when they're training, they're like, "Oh my God, the e-collar's making my dog anxious." No, your dog was already anxious. This is the stress response to the stressor. So we're seeing it come out, right? If we're getting too emotional about like the feeling of like them like being scared or trying to get away, and we stop there, well then they'll never overcome it, right? We need to continue to get them over that hump. Once we get over that hump, then it's like, okay, I know what this is. It's just do this, do this, do that, right? Any other questions?
So he doesn't need to be neuter, right? With you guys,
No.
for daycare?
No.
Even for the regular daycare?
No.
Okay.
We have a lot of neuter dogs, yeah.
So for the meals, when he's in daycare, we just take him like 2 meals.
Yeah, you can bring food. He probably won't eat his first maybe few days because it's a new environment, new people, new dogs, new smells, and he might be a little stressed because it's just a different environment. Or sometimes he does eat. It just depends, but just a heads up, he might not eat. Especially if he's already a picky eater, he might not.
Yeah.
With the food stuff, so we have our rules to fix picky eaters. So he eats 3 times a day or 2 times a day?
We try to give him 3 times a day, but he doesn't eat
Yeah.
all
He'll eat like once or twice.
Yeah, I just do 2 times a day then. So let's say you feed him at 8 a.m. or something, right? So you have his breakfast, you put it down, and like you feed him in the crate or something, or where do you feed him?
Just in the kitchen, open area.
Okay.
So she's pretty good about calling him,
Okay.
having him sit,
Yeah.
stay.
Yeah.
And then once she puts on the food, like
I tell
she
him to
says
go.
okay, and he goes, smells it, walks away.
Okay. So I leave it. So when that happens, I leave it there for like 5 more minutes. He doesn't touch it. No more food. I take the bowl away. He doesn't get to feed. He doesn't get to eat until dinner. Dinner comes. You do the same thing. Doesn't want to touch it. Okay. 5 more minutes. Doesn't want to touch it. Then it leaves. Because if is he eating like throughout the day, like here and there, or do you guys take away the bowl, or what do you guys do?
So we've been leaving it, and like sometimes he'll like come chew up a little bit.
Yeah, don't do that, because then he's eating when he wants to, versus he's gonna be thinking he's gonna come like one in the middle of the day. He's like, oh, the food will be there later. He's like, oh, it's not here. Okay, I'm kind of hungry, right? Dinner comes and he's like, I'll eat it later in the night. He comes back, it's not there. So what he's learning is that okay, the food only comes down at this time. If I don't eat now, I don't eat until the next meal, which is a longer time for him, right? So if he's not gonna eat right away, he doesn't get that meal. And I wouldn't add anything. I just start with the basic food, his regular kibble, because it ends up stacking up on money if you're just buying all these other extra things to make the food more exciting, right? Dogs don't need that.
Yeah.
Dogs will also never starve themselves, right? They're not heard of. They don't just like, I won't eat for how many days, right? It's different if it's like based on stress or like if it's like a behavioral issue. But if he's eating regularly whenever he wants, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
So again, morning meal, wait like 10 minutes, nothing. All right, no more food. Again, dinner, 10 minutes, nothing, no more food, and continue that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
For the something else you brought up. So you're more than welcome to bring the meal, just as if he won't eat. He might not eat. And we can try incorporating it in the training as well, see if he'll take it, but if not, we can't make dogs eat food.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So the other thing that he does, and our first trainer told us this, the lady that we were doing the swing videos with, when they're born, so it's a couple, that sort of a threesome. The man, it's the one that takes care of the puppies. So she thinks that might be the reason, but he's okay with me. But when he's with her, he misbehaves a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, he's
But he
better.
also nips. Like even with her sisters, like they'll play with him, and he's always like,
And trying to nip them. Yeah.
he doesn't do
Okay.
that with me, but he does that with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of issues, right? For us, that's just an excuse. So, like when trainers are like, there's always like that what is it? There's always that experience of a client will say, yeah, the dog was good with me, but then when the trainer was here, he was good. The trainer left, he was bad. So there's none of that in e-collar training. So like we'll be training him, right? The training will be associated to us because we're the ones working with him, right? They're always like, well, what if we get him back and he doesn't know anything with us? Like what's gonna happen there, right?
Yeah.
That's what the follow-up is for. Also, e-collar is very transferable. So if, let's say his number is 35. When I press the button on 35, he responds really well. When you press the number on 35, he should respond the same way because 35 is 35. There's no, well, you're stronger than me, he's able to listen to me more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why that's like another wonder of e-collar. It's very transferable. So if we're working with a couple in person, Jeez.
I'm telling you, he won't stop.
Partner number 1 goes first, and they usually do all the hard work.
Yeah.
Partner number 2 goes, and it's super easy. They didn't have to do anything, right? So it's very transferable. So there's none of that issue of like, I'm a man, he listens to me, and woman or whatever like that. It's 35 is 35 for everyone.
Yeah.
Children, whoever's working with them. So that's not a worry for me, right? Transfer session. The follow-up that's what it's for, and I'll walk in, transfer all the obedience with you guys, where it'll be me for your follow-up sessions, and just making sure everything's transferring well to you guys, and you know, having him realize, oh, it's not just Enrique at the facility; it's here at Oz Park with dad or mom. Any other questions?
So the nipping issue.
It's just overexcitement, right? If you're hyping him up and you're playing, he starts to nip. He's getting really pumped up. So once we start to see that, that can be corrected with the e-collar. So we're playing. I feel teeth tap, but I bring it back in because that's like puppy play fighting, right?
Yeah.
If it's like he's playing and all of a sudden he attacks you, that's something a little. I mean, it's still the same thing, but it's intense.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's always been like more of, and you're right. Like it's usually my sisters will get him like really like riled up, and
Yes.
so he'll start going like,
Yeah.
bite their hand, but not like hard. It's just like
A nip, yeah.
yeah.
So it's just overexcitement, and the e-collar will help you with that. Just settle him and correct that, and you can continue playing with him. It's just that you just don't bite me when I play with you. That's all, right? Any other questions?
I don't think I
Some common questions I'm asked about
no.
is like after training, like is the e-collar on all the time, or like when does it come off? Like when do I need it on? So it's on when you need it. So if you're gonna go for a walk, it's on, right? All the time when you're walking, even after training, right? Because we can't predict what's gonna happen on this walk. So let's say we're walking and like a squirrel just boom runs by, right? Since he's a bully breed, he's strong. If he decides to go, and let's say you don't have the prong call that day, he pulls you, or like let's say a car crash happens right here, he gets spooked and wants to run away. So when dogs are running away, or it's called flight mode, they're literally thinking kill or be killed, right? So Chato, come, no, it's not gonna save him, right? Because he's like kill or be killed, I'm running that way. So if that happens, we need to override the brain with the remote. So we've heard horror stories where like something happens, the dog slips out the collar or slips out the hand, or like pulls the owner down and then they're gone, right? So the e-collar is there to override the brain of flight mode and get it back to you guys, right? So the e-collar in that instance, right after training, is there for emergencies in case something happens. You have like no leash, off-leash control. Does that make sense? Because it only takes one time. We're like, I don't need the e-collar, and then something happens, and then you're gonna be thinking e-collar's on all the time, no matter what, right? And then let's say in the home, right, just you guys, just a regular night, he's cool, he doesn't need the e-collar on. Or in bed when he sleeps, he doesn't need the e-collar on. Only on when you need it. Let's say you're gonna have guests come over, and you know he's a big jumper or a big nipper when he gets excited when they come in. You'd collar him up 30 minutes prior, correct whatever that's needing to be addressed, and then if you find that after those moments of addressing his behavior in the beginning, that the rest of the night he's settled and he's fine, well then you can take it off after you've addressed him. But if you think that you're not trusting him, like he's probably gonna jump on you later, I'll keep it on, you can do that as well. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So again, it's on when you need it, it's off when you don't. Another common question is, how come when I take the e-collar off, he starts to, pull me again, right? We call it opportunistic behavior. Do you guys drive on the highway?
Yeah.
Do you have a speed limit?
We go to speed limit?
Yeah.
Oh, with our car, yeah.
For real?
Below the speed limit.
You go below the speed limit?
No, we don't. Well,
We have an old car.
We have an old car.
Oh, I see.
If we're driving, like when we have like a rental car, no, we don't need to.
Yeah.
And even like most people, like they don't drive speed limit, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you're not going to speed limit, and let's say you see a squad car. What do you guys do?
Great.
Exactly. You see everyone just starts slowing down. Once that squad car is gone, they speed up again. It's called opportunistic behavior. It's a nature thing, right? So Jesse likes to call the collar a cop on a collar. When it's here, he's like, okay, I gotta behave now. But once it's gone, well, what if I do this? Oh, I got away with it. There was nothing to address my behavior. What if I do this? Has nothing to do with the training. has nothing to do with the e-collar. It has nothing to do with the way you guys practice at home. It has nothing to do with us or anything like that. It's just nature, right? Again, if we know we can get away with something, we're gonna get away with it. Some dogs are very opportunistic, and they know right away. Some dogs are just like, this is life now. I need to be a good boy, and they're very soft, and they're just like, I need to do this the whole time, right? So it's just depending on the dog and what's going on, and just how consistent you are with pressing that button. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions about that or?
I don't know if you have any. I have a question about I guess kind of back to the training. Like, so say we do, like, for example, the first week we do Monday and Tuesday, and then is your recommendation that those are going to be recorded, right?
Yes.
And so then the recommendation is for us to watch those videos and then practice, like, let's just say Wednesday through the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And he comes back Monday and Tuesday, maybe learn something else, and then the same thing, right? Is we're watching the videos and trying to replicate that.
Yes.
Okay.
And there might be some things where you're like, we're doing this, but then this is happening. We don't know why, right? It'll happen, right? That's what the follow-ups are for.
Okay.
So once those videos are uploaded and completed and put together into one, I'll forward you guys the videos. You watch them. You know, do it topic by topic. Don't like watch the whole thing and like try to rush yourself into it. Just take your time with it. Or, you know, I had a client that watched it like 2 times before and like took notes and like was really intense about it, right? So it's just like, you know, there's no right or wrong. Again, the most important thing is just, you know, at least take a look at it, you know, when you can, and practice as much as you can at home. Anything else?
So, how soon can we get them started?
Yeah. I think like you would have to, I'll forward, so after this consultation tonight or tomorrow, I'll send you a follow-up email about everything we talked about.
Okay.
Programs, prices, the e-collar I recommend for him, like the model, the brand is Dog Sharp, the model is going to be, it's called the Black Edition, right? With the price, oh no, not the price, the link to Amazon to purchase, or since he's gonna be a daycare and train, you can purchase through us because we have him at the facility. So you'll just bring him, we get the collar, when you pick him up, we send you home with the collar so you can, like, you know, mess around with it, feel it, get a feel for it and everything like that. And you'll bring him back with the collar and the remote. So however you want to go about that. It's the same price, right, for Amazon or us. And then I'll also send you a link to go on Ginger. That's our daycare boarding application system. I think I'm using those words right.
Yeah.
So you need to upload his shot records.
Okay.
So vaccinations like rabies, distemper, Bordetella, and then we also need a fecal exam that says negative,
Okay.
right? After all that's all been set up, and then you're getting your shots in, your account's made, Kim will then start the invoicing and the billing process. So it's just getting his account set up, right? And then once that's finished, billing, and then once that's finished, we can begin booking right away.
Okay.
So right now we don't have that many daycare and trains. So I'd say if you get this stuff done like this week, you can start the following week for sure. Any other questions?
What are the times for like the all-day training? Like if we do like a Monday, Tuesday,
You
like
can drop them off anytime after 7 a.m.
So 7 a.m. we open. So 7 a.m. to 10
Okay.
is when you want to drop them off. Pickup starts at 3 and ends at 7 p.m. On the weekends, we open up at 8 and then pickup starts at 3 and then ends at 6. So we just close an hour early, we open an hour later.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Good. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. And then has he ever been to a dog park before?
Oh yeah.
We
Good.
just took him yesterday for the first time, and we were surprised he did really well.
Good.
Just because when he was in puppy school, he was a little bit bigger
Bulldog.
than Bulldog, so he just kind of jumps and like plays kind of rough. But no, he actually did really well yesterday, and mostly kept the dogs his own size.
Good, yeah.
Kind of a similar breed, I would say. So yeah, he did good.
Yeah, did you guys get him from a breeder?
Yeah.
He's good looking.
Yeah.
Like his nose isn't too squished or anything like that. And, like, he's breathing fine. Like usually they're like the pugs especially, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But like he's breathing fine. And like He's just got a good structure and everything. He's not too heavy.
Yeah, no, he's good in that sense. He's just I think you diagnosed it properly. He's kind of goofy. So
Yes,
he's
just a goofy boy.
Kind of more obedient boy would be great.
Shut up. Anything else, guys?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, yeah.
Yeah.